Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Systems and Workflow Bootcamp. It's great to have you here. Thank you for tuning in early on this morning. Just going to hold on for a few more minutes whilst more of you join the session. I can see the attendee numbers slowly going up there. Do me a favor, whilst people are trickling in, if you can just go and find the chat box at the bottom of Zoom and just stick a message in there and just let me know which sessions you're looking forward to the most today. No pressure. You can see that I've got Amanda on the line here. So
that's a lot of pressure. The pressure is your favorite one is this one. This is the one you're looking forward to the most. Oh my gosh, you're going to make me cry otherwise.
It's good to get feedback, Amanda. So if you can just, let me know in the chat, that'd be great. Good morning, Neil. Yeah, Jessica's looking forward to this one. You'll be pleased to know, Amanda.
Thank you, Jess.
All right. And for everybody else coming in, good morning. Welcome to the Systems and Workflow Bootcamp. We're just going to hang on for one more minute, just as a few more people join. Just do me a favor still, go to the chat box. Let's get some engagement going. If you can let us know which session, as well as this session, you're looking forward to attending later today, that would be really helpful. So good morning to Vijay, good morning to Kelly, good morning to Steph, Stephen, Nick, good morning to everybody. Great, all right, I'm going to get moving then, so I'm conscious of the time. So got a few housekeeping rules for this morning. First of all, make sure that you mute your phone, close your emails, lock your door, and most importantly, focus. You've taken the time to register and to be here this morning, so I really hope that you can get the most out of the time that you've put aside to be here. If you have any questions, please use the Q&A box. That's just really helpful for us to be able to keep track of all the questions that you're asking. You can still use the chat box to chat amongst yourselves and share messages. Please feel free to do that as you're going through. Remember to get social. We have a hashtag there. It's quite a long one, but if you can type it out, it's hashtag Systems and Workflow Bootcamp. Tag us in social media on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Facebook. Let us know which sessions you're enjoying. Share some pictures. We'd really love to see that. And last but not least, make sure that you hang around until the end of the sessions because all of our speakers today have some special bonuses and giveaways for you as a special thank you for attending. So today's agenda, we're going to kick things off in just a second. We've got Amanda Watts on the line with us here. She's going to be talking all things marketing systems. Then we're going to be moving through at 10 a.m. to proposal and payment systems with Peter from Practice Ignition. 11 a.m. it's onboarding systems with myself and Jacques from Zama. And then wrapping things up for the morning, it's going to be advisory systems with Helen from Futurely at 12 p.m. So just a quick reminder, we do have a number of workflow templates and systems available for you today. If you go to this link that you can see on the side here, use pixie.com/workflow templates. I'll share it in the chat box in just a second. There's a number of pre-made workflow templates and systems there that we've built purposely for accounting and bookkeeping firms. So if you're looking to get up and running with systems and workflows and you haven't really got a foundation to start from, go check out the Workflow Template Library. It's a great place to really get some systems into your business. Okay, so now's the time for our first session. I'm going to hand things over to Amanda C. Watts, who's going to be talking about the systems that you need to attract and convert high-paying clients. So Amanda, over to you.
Thank you. And with regards to the hashtag of the Systems and Workflow Bootcamp, I am so glad that you've actually put it out full. I used to live in Salisbury and I was known as the sales and marketing queen, but I used the hashtag S&M queen because I didn't want it to be too long and my brain didn't even think about that. So please use the long version of it because otherwise you could really say the wrong thing online. And I did that for such a long time. I was known as the S&M queen. So yeah, that's why we have to do the Systems and Workflow Bootcamp in long hashtag. But yes, there you go. A slight story there to show you what it was like when I first started 10 years ago, helping people with social media and marketing. All right, guys, great to have you with us. Thank you. I see so many familiar faces and I'm so glad that you actually have come today because I'm going to be sharing some new things with you. I know a few of you come to my webinars on a regular basis. For those of you who are completely new to me, let me know in the chat box. Is this are you an old timer when it comes to watching my webinars and workshops, or are you a newbie? Can you let me know if you are a newbie or an old timer, please, just so that I know. Hey Roy, how you doing? Yeah, it's great, isn't it? It was so embarrassing. It's how innocent I was. I didn't even realize. Steph, you're an old timer, very old timer. Lee, you're a newbie. Okay, brilliant. Okay, all right, listen, we're going to be talking about marketing systems, how to attract and convert better clients. Liz, you are definitely an old timer indeed. Jess, you're a newbie. So, right, great to have you with us. Now, for those of you who don't know who I am, I specialize in helping accountants, business advisors, and consultants. Now, my ideal, like my sweet spot, is helping an accountant or a bookkeeper offer advisory services, having the confidence and the know-how in how to do that. So I show you step by step how to grow your advisory services to 7 figures by systemizing and scaling. Systems is what we're all about today. All right. So I am a huge lover of marketing and sales, or S&M, as I used to be known for. And my biggest thing that I really want to change the market with is actually the fulfillment side of it, how to actually kind of bring more advisory and consulting to your clients so that you can transform their lives. Now, one thing that I have seen with the accounting profession is that you are overworked and underpaid, and it's really, really hard to find time in your diary. And what we want to do is use systems. We want to use systems and processes to actually give you back time. And a system is a tool, and it allows you to get more done, easier, simpler, and better. And for years and years and years, I resisted systems and processes. I found that I was so busy working in my business. I was like, I've got to get it done. I've got to get it done. I can't give it to anyone else. I can't actually offload it. I haven't got time. I haven't got time. I haven't got time. And it really did limit the growth of my business. And one thing that I had to get my head around was why systems were so important, whether it was with my marketing, my sales, how I offered my services, systems with clients, systems with team members. It really, really did change my life when I decided to get out of my own way and make it a priority. And a system, for me, has been a method of solving a business issue in a repeatable and effortless way. Now, when we look at growing our practice, we think that we have to be the ones that do everything. Actually, the best thing that we can do is get it off our plate. And the problem is, though, is we think that we don't have time to create systems. We're like, we're in the business, we don't have time, we don't have time. We'll do that when we get another team member. We'll do it when we train our staff better. We'll do it when we make a bit more money, then we'll systemize. And actually, it's the wrong way round. Now, we all know this gentleman, Richard Branson. Clients do not come first, employees come first. If you take care of your employees, they will take care of the clients. Now, I grabbed this quote and I grabbed this image of Richard Branson because I use him every single day to get my head around being a CEO. Now, I know as practice owners, many of you are sole practitioners. I know that some of you don't even have team, but what we do is we don't act like CEOs. We don't act like business owners. We act like we're technicians in a business. And I use Richard Branson to inspire me because he is not a technician. He is not flying the planes. He's not driving the trains. He's not serving me tea and coffee when I'm going on holiday. He isn't, he's not there inputting all of the information when I go to Virgin Money. He doesn't do any of that. Actually, what he's done is he's created thousands and thousands and thousands of systems. So all he has to do is overlook the business. And that's what all of us need to do. So all I do in my business is talk and draw. So I talk to you guys, I draw out images, I come up with ideas. If I am doing anything other than that, then I haven't created a system and got it off my plate. You have to clear your plate, okay? So we have to be more Richard Branson. And we have to create systems for everything that we do, okay? So you are doing things like right now, for example, you're going to be thinking, right, after the 4 hours that you're spending with Pixie today, you're going to have to go and do work and you're going to find yourself back in the weeds and we need to pull you out of these weeds. So you're already doing the work, we just need to systemize it. The moment we systemize it, you can pass it off to somebody else. Okay, and you don't have to hire someone full-time to pass off your work to somebody else. You can hire someone for 5 days a week and pass off one system and process. Okay, then you can hire somebody else for 5 days a week and pass off another system and process. And what I'm going to be sharing with you today is the systems and processes that we use for attracting clients and converting clients. I'm not going to be sharing the fulfillment side of it today, the advisory side, but I'm going to be sharing with you the marketing side. All right. So the benefits of having a system include saving a ton of time. And so many of you will be thinking, oh my gosh, I don't have time to create systems, but it saves time. It allows you to delegate effectively. So I'm going to share with you some systems that we have in place, some processes actually, not systems, because there's a difference, some processes that enable me to tell someone what to do, and then I don't have to think about it again, and it gets done. It's magic. Like stuff happens in my practice that is completely and utterly magic, and it's because I've created a system around it. I can also get more consistent results. So I don't lay awake at night worrying, oh my gosh, has this client been called? Or, oh my gosh, has this person been got back to? Because there's a system behind it to make sure that nothing falls through the gaps. It makes things easier next time. So every single time you have something in place, it enables you to then get better and better and better at it. You can tweak the processes and systems. You can actually ensure that you are optimizing everything that you do so that you become a world-class practice. And I totally understand, and this is something that I've been working with you guys on for a long time, that the traditional accountancy model is broken because you are commoditized. So what we have to do is systemize and process the hell out of the commoditized side of it, and systemize and process the client delivery on the advisory and consulting side, so that actually you can just breathe and you can actually make things better and better and be known as the go-to accountants. Your differentiator is that you're bloody awesome, pardon my French, as opposed to being the same as everybody else doing things in exactly the same way. You end up spending less energy. So I've got quite a lot of time and mind freedom because everything's systemized, and it completely changes that. It now empowers you to delegate things. So every time I create a standard operating procedure, a process to go with a system, I can just delegate it. I just go on to somewhere like FreeUp or Upwork. I find one person to do that, and we just get people to do our work for us. And this is the really key thing, right? Happier team and happier clients. When you systemize and process everything, your team feels safe and secure. One of the biggest problems that I see many of you have is hiring great team members. I was having a Q&A with my Momentum clients yesterday, and a conversation was all around, we need more apprentices, we need more team members. And what you need to really focus on is, how do you get really good staff members and how do you keep them? Well, you get them and keep them by giving them a safe and secure environment. If people feel safe and secure, they'll show up for you 100%. If people are nervous, if people don't feel safe and secure, then they're not going to be very happy. And that's going to make you bleed miserable as well. All right. Nothing's more stressful than trying to find team. That really is very difficult. You're going to avoid potential problems if you systemize everything. And this is why you are here with me today. You want to scale your practice, your income, and your freedom. Now, out of those 9 benefits, which one of those appeals most to you? Is it the scaling, or is it having happier team and clients? Just put the number in the chat box. Which one would be like the game changer for you? So is it saving a ton of time, number 1? Is it getting more consistent results? Or is it number 9? Which one's the one that you think? 5, says Liz, less energy in the future. 9, 9, 9. Okay, 1, says Bradley. Great, interesting. So there's different things that you are motivated by, different reasons for you to have different systems in place. And the thing is, all right, and for those of you who've been to my webinars before, know that I'm quite naggy. You don't make time for this. If this is important to you, this has to be your number 1 priority. You need to allocate an hour every frickin' day to create a system around something that you do in your practice. All right, an hour every day to create a system, because that investment of 1 hour will give you thousands of hours back. Okay. So you have to make systems a culture thing. You need to make sure that you are implementing these systems and your team are implementing the systems. All right, so how does it all fit together? What do we have to do? Well, to scale your practice, your income, and your freedom, there are 3 things that we need to do. And systems is not It's only one piece of the puzzle, all right? So we have to get the strategy in place. Before we create a system, we have to choose the strategy that we want to systemize, all right? So there are 3 strategies: marketing, sales, and fulfillment, that you need to focus on. Fulfillment's all about your team. Marketing and sales, that's what I'm going to talk to you about today, okay? Then when we get that strategy in place, we then get a system for going under each of those strategies. So if you're talking about fulfillment, we need a system for hiring. If we're talking about getting clients, we need a system for marketing and sales, okay? Then what we do, once we have a system in place, we need to create processes. So a process is a breakdown step by step of each part of the system. All right, and I'm going to go slow, but I do find that I'm quite a fast person. So my idea of slow might still be a bit fast for you. But once you get your head around these 3 things, it starts to be like, right, okay, I need to map everything out. I need to know exactly what I'm doing and when, and the difference between a strategy and a process, for example. All right, so I'm just going to go over it one more time. A strategy is the marketing, sales, and fulfillment. You need a strategy for each of those different things. So a strategy for marketing, a strategy for sales, a strategy for fulfillment. Then what's different from a strategy is a system, and a system sits within the strategy. So we have a system in sales and marketing. Okay, we have a system for hiring, we have a system for fulfillment, and then we have processes, which is a breakdown step by step of each of the different sections within a system. All right, so we have to get the strategy in place first of all. So we choose, do we want to create a strategy? Do we want to create a system for marketing, a system for sales, a system for fulfillment? We need to think that one level above, all right? And we have to be in control of all of these stages. So what do I see? I see that you are reactive. You will get emails and you will check your emails all times of the day, and you will react to what's coming in. Okay, so you're answering. You will have someone say to you, right, when it comes to marketing, you need to work on your SEO, and you'll go, great, I'll hire someone to do my SEO. And there'll be no system in place, and there'll be no reason to have that system. You'll pass over that control. When it comes to fulfillment, you will do the same thing time and time again, but there'll be no processes behind that. So when you have new team members, they're guessing what they need to do, or you're having to tell them every single time, and you're telling team members the same thing. You have to be in control. And the way to be in control of all 3 of these stages is for you to map it out. Okay, so who feels like this when it comes to your marketing? All right, you're being told you need to do webinars, you need to be on Instagram, you need to be on podcasts, you need to do blogging, YouTube videos, radio, email, web marketing, Facebook, LinkedIn. Now you need to do Twitter, ebook, direct mail, SEO, social media, podcast, cold calling. Who feels like this? James says yes. Okay, we need to systemize the strategy. So do you feel overwhelmed with this? Like when you look at this, is this like, oh my gosh, this is what marketers tell me to do? Yeah, type yes in the chat box, or no, this is how you live your life. Because when I look at this, it makes me overwhelmed, and I absolutely love all of this. All right, so this is what people like myself are telling you need to do, and it is very overwhelming, isn't it? So what we need to do is systemize your marketing, systemize your sales, and it completely changes everything. It gets rid of all of that overwhelm. Emmanuel says, no, not at all. Amazing. Well, Emmanuel, we're going to be helping you with all of this anyway, fingers crossed. So, all right, systemize the strategy. Actually, let me just go back. You'll see there's different colors here, and they're not just to make it look pretty, although I do love the colors very, very much. The reason why we have these colors is because they're different parts of your marketing system. Okay, they are allocated to different ways. So let's just have a look and see. Everything that is in the pinky red, okay, is all about building your community. So we systemize your marketing and sales by a 4-step process. And the first thing that we have to do is build a community. We have to build a community of ideal clients. So this is where we're systemizing the strategy. The next thing that we have to do is advance people into conversations and get people into audition calls. So you might know it as a discovery session. It's a short 10-minute conversation that we have with a prospect to see whether or not they're a good fit. So we build our audience and then we get them into a conversation. So everything that's in blue is all about things that will get people into a conversation. Then we've got the, this is mermaid blue, this color is. Okay, this is all about farming and engaging your network and staying front of mind. So this is putting all of the strategy, all of the marketing strategy into a process, okay? And then we have sales. So the 4 different colors, if I go back to the page before, okay, different things. So everything in the pinky color is hunting, building your audience. Everything in the mermaid blue is all about nurturing your audience and actually getting them to know, like, and trust you. Everything in blue is how we advance people into conversations to buy from you. All right. So hunting, advancing, farming, and sales. All right. Now, what we do, how we systemize marketing and sales is take all of these different hunting, advancing, farming, and sales and map out, they're like little sales funnels. Okay, so we map out a sales funnel for each of the different actions, the different strategies that we want to have under marketing. Okay, so we have a systemized strategy and we base it on something called the money map. So we need to make sure, like, how do we get people from not knowing about you to buying your high value advisory or consulting services? Well, we need to have a system in place to go with a strategy. So we need to have a marketing strategy and then systemize it. All right. So every successful accounting practice I work with has a strategy built on a money map. And they start with one strategy and then they build another strategy out and another strategy and another strategy when they get that first strategy working. Okay. It's a simple sales funnel to consistently attract new prospects and then convert them into paying clients. Okay, so I'm going to share with you how we're going to take all of that overwhelm, so all of those different things, apart from Emmanuel, who didn't find it overwhelming, all the rest of you did. We're going to take all of that overwhelm and actually put it into a system. And we're going to see, what is it that you need to be doing? What system do you want to put in place in your practice to get the high value clients? So remember, everything starts with nobody knowing you're there, all the way through to having a conversation with you and buying from you. Okay, right. Let's have a look at some of the hunting things that you can do. Top of funnel. So we're talking about sales funnels here. All right, it's a system. Okay, top of funnel. We could do Facebook. We could have LinkedIn. We could have Facebook ads. We could do Instagram. We could go to a conference. All of this is about going hunting and building a huge, huge audience of our ideal clients. Now, here's the key thing, right? Before you go hunting, you have to be 100% clear on who is an ideal client for you. So actually, the foundational work that you have to do is get super, super clear on who's an ideal client, what your message to that ideal client is, and your offer. So what is it that you want them to buy? All right. When you know who they are, what your offer is, and what the message is, so what's the transformation that you give your clients, then we can go hunting for our ideal clients. And we can do that. Facebook, LinkedIn, Facebook ads, Instagram, conferences, we can choose. Now, how do we choose where is the best place to go hunting? We choose where our ideal client hangs out the most. So for years and years and years and years and years, LinkedIn was the place where I went hunting for you, darling accountants. All right. So I would hang out on LinkedIn. Now, what I've noticed over the past 18 months, 2 years, is you're starting to hang out more on Instagram and on Facebook. So my systems, my strategies have had to pivot slightly. We still focus on LinkedIn, but we also do Facebook. We do Facebook advertising. We spend a lot of money on Facebook advertising. I kind of hang out on Instagram, but don't put a huge amount of effort in there. I have always gone to conferences. Last week, we had the Digital Accountancy Show, so I speak at a conference. But you have to be in front of your ideal clients. Now, if you are a dentist, your ideal client is probably on LinkedIn if you're targeting dentists. If you're targeting marketing agencies, they might be actually hanging out on Instagram. So the first system that you put in place, the first sales funnel that you put in place starts where your ideal clients are hanging out. So the first thing you need to do is choose, where are you going hunting? Then what we need to do is think about, now we're going hunting in that place, how are we going to advance people into a conversation? Now, we might advance people into a conversation through messaging them on Instagram, LinkedIn, or Facebook. We might advance people into a conversation using webinars. We might advance people into a conversation doing events and then inviting them to have a conversation with us. When we are advancing, we are having a call to action. So today I'm doing this webinar with you, and I am going to advance you by saying, if you would like to find out more about working with me, you can book a call. So advancing has a call to action to it. Let me know if this is making sense to you. Can you just put a yes, or if you've got any questions, put it in the chat box. Daryl says yes, 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 great. Let me just check the chat box as well. So Sham says, as you start a new practice business, what systems take priority? The reason I ask is that not all systems can be developed from day one. It's a journey for continual improvement, even though all stages are important. Absolutely, Sham. So if you're a new practice, literally everything that you are doing more than once, you turn into a system. So say, for example, you have a bookkeeper. So you're running your own business, but you don't have time to do your bookkeeping. You have a bookkeeper. You systemize how you delegate those tasks to a bookkeeper. Okay, say you are posting on social media every single day. If you're doing it like on a Monday and then you do the same thing on a Tuesday, map out exactly what you're going to do. I'm going to show you processes so you can create processes before you really know what your systems are. You could actually do the processes before the systems are in place. Okay, hopefully. Problem is, I have finding the time to look at this stuff. Did I not say that at the beginning? So you're so freaking busy that you don't have time to create systems. The reason you're so freaking busy is because you haven't created the systems. So you need to make time. Your priority is to systemize. If you are finding that you're busy doing it, and you're in the weeds, then you need to pull yourself out of those weeds. All right. Daryl, I'm just going to call you out. Have you watched TV at all in the last month? You know, have you sat and gone to the pub? Have you sat on the phone to your friends for a month? You really need to make sure that you're prioritizing this. Daryl says no. So literally all you do is wake up and then do work and then go to bed. All right. We need to prioritize. You need to do an audit of your time and see what it is that you're doing that you can, and I call it the CDS. So do you want to cut it, delegate it, or systemize it? All right. So Daryl, if you are literally waking up at 7 in the morning and working till 10 o'clock at night, you want to cut it, delegate it, or systemize it. CDS. All right. So let's go back to this. Hunting, building your audience, advancing, getting them into conversations. Not everybody is going to want to get into a conversation with you. So we need to farm the audience, and farming the audience is all about actually building people's getting to know you, getting to like you, and getting to trust you. So how do we do that? We do that through email marketing. We do it through a Facebook group. I have a community, Superpowers for Accountants Facebook group. And you do it through content. You can do it on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. Now, farming, and one of my clients, I'm going to share with you in a moment, one of my clients, phenomenal at farming using video. Why does she have success? Because not many of you are doing it. Okay. Then what we do is, once we have built a relationship with people and we've advanced people into conversations, we get them onto a sales call. We do that through phone calls, through Zoom, or face-to-face meetings. There are many ways to have a sales conversation, but these tend to be the three main ways that we do it. Okay. So this is a money map. This is kind of an example, a high level example of different things that you can do. So all that overwhelm of all of the different things that people tell you to do, we've got to put it into this system. This is Christina Coluccia. Now, Christina is a phenomenal client of mine. She specializes in helping people to start businesses in China. And you can imagine over the past year and a half, that would have been a horrendous feat, especially if she came to me pretty much as a startup about 2 years ago. We started working together and she was working with me on how to get people to start businesses in China. Okay, now, because she had a systemized marketing system in place, she worked really, really hard and managed to have a very successful business, even though people weren't even going to China because of COVID, and was taking on clients that are paying her 20 grand a year for the advisory work. And she uses the money map to do it. And I'm going to share with you the 4 or 5 different sales funnels that she put in place. She didn't do all of them all at the same time. Okay, she didn't do all of them all at the same time, but what she did was get one system working, then move to the next system, one system working, then move to the next one. VJ says there's a lot to take in. Yeah, there is a lot to take in, because I want you to understand that when you systemize this, I can't miss anything out, because then I'm not giving you what you need to know to get your head around systems. Okay, but what we need to do is make sure that you put this in place, and I don't want to miss any of the bits out, because otherwise it doesn't work, the systems break. Okay, so hopefully you will be able to watch this back time and time again and transform your practice. That's the main thing. All right, so this is what we did with Christina. She built her audience on LinkedIn. She drove her LinkedIn audience to webinars, and she's phenomenal at webinars. And what we did is we created systems for webinars. We tweaked and measured and tweaked and measured. So the systems and the processes got tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. Then from the webinars, she would email people, and then she would, from that email, get people into a Zoom conversation and they would buy. That is one sales funnel that we systemized. Okay, we systemized and put processes together for. The next thing that we did was we did LinkedIn, and then she created content, and from that content she would drive people to webinars, and then she would get them into a conversation. So at the end of the webinar, a call to action was book a call, and people would automatically book a call in her diary. So these are 2 different sales funnels. Okay, first of all, this is the first sales funnel that we put together, this one I'm sharing with you now. She had an email database when she came to me. So we got that email database, we drove the email database to webinars, and then we got people on calls, and this got her clients straight away. So the first thing that we did was utilize the email database that she had. We didn't need to build an audience because she already had an audience. Okay, the next thing that we did, LinkedIn. And then I taught her how to message people on LinkedIn to build a relationship, get them onto a conversation. So this is a really short system, a really short sales funnel of, I've got an audience on LinkedIn, I'm going to message you, build a relationship with you on messages, and get you into a conversation. Very short and sweet. All right. And then this is the last one that we've actually been putting in over the past 2 or 3 months. Facebook to video content. She's only been doing video for a few weeks. And then she's messaging people and then getting them into a Zoom call. Now, this hopefully stops the overwhelm for you. When you have so many different things that you can do with marketing, you just choose one and you go deep with that sales funnel. Instead of going, should I be on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, la da 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 da, and be everywhere, you go deep and have one sales funnel that attracts and converts clients. Is this making sense? Let me know in the chat box. You know, what's an aha moment from you? What's a takeaway of what I've gone through so far with you? Remember the 3 things. Nick says making sense to you. Does it feel less overwhelming, or does it still feel overwhelming? All right. And what I want you to do, kind of put your hand on the screen and just choose one of these sales funnels that you feel you could implement first. Okay. Just choose one of them. So do you want to do so? And this might not work for you. Your ideal client might not be on LinkedIn, but just to get your head around LinkedIn, to get people into a webinar, to email them, to get them into a call, to come to Zoom could be your thing. Yeah, so Jane says, particularly the shorter options using the existing database. Now, the problem is, because you haven't systemized your marketing and you haven't systemized your sales, you are not going deep with this stuff and you're missing opportunities. Okay. Daryl says hunting, farming, advancing, and sales structure is an aha moment for you. Yeah, and what we're doing is the giveaway, and actually I haven't got the link. Jordan, if you're listening, as the giveaway, we're giving a copy of my book that goes into this in some depth, Practice Growth Superpowers. So if you'd like a copy of my book, then Jordan will put the link in, okay, so that you can have a copy of my book. Steph says, I could definitely work more on LinkedIn, not on any other platform, as I just don't want to be on social media. Like to do a lot of networking. Okay, so Steph, you could become the networking queen. Don't call yourself an S&M queen though. But yeah, you could become the networking queen. And what you would do is you would build your audience through networking, and then you need to put together a system to take that audience and get them into a sales conversation. So you need to map that out. I do everything on big bits of paper. I've got big A3 paper here, and I map everything out. I map all of my systems out doing that. Okay. All right. So under systems, though, there's one more thing I want to go deeper on. Under systems, they have many moving parts, and each of these parts need a process. And this is where the magic happens. And the question was asked, which systems do you work on first? You don't. You work on processes before you actually solidify your systems. You record your processes, no matter how teeny tiny they are. Everything you do will have a process. And I'm going to share with you an example of this. So you create processes within the different strategies. A webinar is a strategy, okay? You have a webinar strategy. You need to create processes for this. Now, what you can see in front of you is actually, hold on. This is the SOP. I've just taken a screenshot of it, but I'm just going to put it up here. Okay. This is a standard operating procedure or a standard operating process. And this is a simple process. It's quite small, I'm aware of that, but this is a simple process of what people, what my team members need to do to make sure that when I have a webinar or when I have a meeting with someone or when I have an appointment, that everything I need is there for me and I don't have to ask. So this is that you can see the length of this process. Okay, this process is here so I don't have to ask for information. So when I came to the event today, the Pixie event, all of this had been pre-done because I turned the fact that I needed to have the information for today into a process. All right, let me just make it a bit bigger for you in this way so I can share. Let's make it so it's 150%. All right, so this is what you need to do when you are looking at creating a process. So you have the name. So what's the system? Well, the system is meeting and events. What's the process? The teeny tiny process is Amanda's appointments. What's the status? Well, we use this, it's live. Who owns it? So this is my online business manager or my integrator owns this process. She has to make sure that it happens, okay? When was it last updated? 1st of September. So we know that it's up to date. If this was 3 years old, we would probably be wondering whether or not this process is still working. We'd have to check it. Then we give an overview. So this is the system to ensure that Amanda doesn't have to ask for information regarding events, webinars, podcasts. Nothing annoys me more than having to go, where's the link for today's podcast? You know, who do I ask? How do I do it? I'm about to start a podcast and I don't have that information. Nothing is more annoying, okay? So use the system whenever Amanda has an appointment of some kind, including live events, webinars, meetings, podcasts. Now, why do I have this as a process? Well, the reason I have it as a process is because I don't want to have to think about it. So those of you who are overwhelmed, those of you who are really busy, it's probably because you're thinking too much, okay? So what's the definition of done? How do we know that this process has actually been completed? Well, I do not have to chase for information and I'm clear where, when, and how I need to show up for appointments, online or offline. So I know what time, if I need a Zoom link, I have it. Last week when I was at the Digital Accountancy Show, I knew exactly where I needed to go. I knew if I needed to pay for parking or if it had already been booked for me. Literally, I just show up and do what I need to do. Who's involved? Well, the integrator and myself. So then we have detailed step by step. So liaise with the third party or where the appointment is being held. If they're not in touch with us, and chase them, because nothing is more annoying than me going, where's the link? And they're like, oh, we haven't heard from them. All right, so we need to chase them. Ensure hotels, parking and Zoom links are booked and put in my diary at least 3 days prior to the event. So I run everything from my Google diary. And 3 days prior to the event, I need to be able to go into my diary and see all the information I need. So that is not my responsibility. That's my integrator's responsibility to make sure that that has happened. Okay. Ensure I've got any tickets, organize hotels and parking 2 days before the event. This needs to happen. KPIs to track. So this is to make sure that they are on track to make sure things are done for me. Okay. Then let's have a look at Momentum. So in Momentum, which is our flagship program for those that work with us and we help people systemize and scale. Let me just show you, let me make this bigger so you can see it, 150%. Weekly Momentum email. So we send out an email every single week to our clients. Who's responsible? The online business manager or integrator. Last updated 8th of September. This email is sent to all Momentum clients. Definition of done is scheduled by Friday to be sent on Sunday. Who's involved? Online business manager. Detailed step-by-step standard weekly email. Step-by-step how to do it. So if I get knocked down by a bus, my integrator gets knocked down by a bus, there is step-by-step on how someone can quickly come in and do this, okay? And then the implementation week, so we have another week, which is an implementation week. This is what we do. It's slightly different email, but it goes out every single week, okay? All right. I know lots is going on, okay? Let me have a look. Stuart said, my superpowers book is really informative on Spark actions and ideas. Great, make sure that you download it. All right, so how many of you, let me know with a yes or a no, creates processes for things that you do within the practice? Let me know if you do or if you don't. And what would be like a aha moment that would, if you created a process for everything, how would that change your life? Okay, Tracy says, I do, and I do it personally as well. Yes, but not for marketing. Daryl says, yes, but not today. Yes, but not enough. No, because I am it. Jane, it doesn't matter if you're it. You still need to create a process because you're going to be thinking time and time again. Even when it was just me in the business, you start processes and systemizing now because you're it at the moment, but you shouldn't be it. Because if you're posting on social media, if you're doing any marketing of any kind, if you're doing fulfillment and you want to get more clients, eventually that fulfillment will have to be done by other people. You start creating processes and systems even when you're a sole trader. Okay. Colette says, looking to build the easiest business to manage. Absolutely. Do you know what? My business is freaking easy to manage because I have processes and systems in place for everything. All right. So I actually, as I said, all I do is I show up, I talk, and I draw. How do I get to talk and draw? Because we systemize everything. If I have to do something more than once, that's it. We create a process for it. Yeah, so Lena says, systemizing everything would be super awesome. I don't ever have to worry that there are any gaps and I'm left exposed. Okay, so let's just have a look where it fits when it comes to scaling your practice, your income, and your freedom. So we've got the strategy. So we choose a strategy. Do we want to do a marketing strategy, a sales strategy, or a fulfillment strategy? Systems, hiring system, sales system, marketing system, and then processes. So break down step by step for each part of the system. So what I've gone through is get the strategy in place for marketing, sales, and fulfillment. Systemize the strategy. So we want to go hunting, advancing, farming, and sales. So we need to put in that. Do we want to be on LinkedIn? Do we want to message people? Do we want to do webinars? Do we want to create content? What do we want to do? Map it out, map out that sales funnel. The strategy is lots of different sales funnels. The strategies are lots of different sales funnels. And then finally, underneath those sales funnels, those strategies, we create processes within each of the strategies. Okay. It all starts, though, with the right strategy. And you need to make sure that you're not pushing water or boulders up a hill. It's hard freaking work if you're doing the same thing time and time again. You need to get momentum. So what I am going to say to you, you've got two choices. You can carry on doing what you've always done, or you can choose to change your situation and systemize and scale your practice. Now, if you would like some help with that, there's two options. One is that you get a copy of my book, Practice Growth Superpowers. That outlines the hunting and the advancing. You're very welcome to have a copy of that. And Jordan has put a link in the chat for that. Jordan, if you could do it again, that would be amazing, please. All right. Alternatively, if you would like to be in control of all three of these stages, there's marketing, sales, and fulfillment. You can actually get in control by booking a scale call with a scale specialist now for my business. So oomph.global/game plan. It's a quick 10-minute conversation to see which one of my programs is a good fit for you. We have two. We have Get Clients Now and we have Momentum. Get Clients Now is focused purely on getting clients. Momentum is all about clearing your plate. It's for those who already have clients and already have a firm. Now, the key thing for you and what you need to get from this week, these 4 sessions, is to understand that systemizing will set you free. And if you carry on doing things the way that you do, you won't have freedom. And systemizing and having processes, you need to have all of that in place. And what we do in the Momentum program especially is give you those systems, all of the marketing and sales systems, so that you can clear your plate very, very easily. Everything's mapped out for you, so you don't have to think about it. We give you the emails, we give you the templates, everything. So if you're interested in taking a lot of this off your plate, then please inquire by booking in a game plan, quick 10-minute conversation to see if you're a good fit. If you don't feel ready to do that, so if you're not ready to be advanced, okay, so look at what I'm doing and learn from what I'm doing. So if you'd like to advance into a conversation, great. If you're not ready and you want to get to know me and like me and you want to build that trust, then feel free to get a copy of my book, or feel free to do both. That's absolutely fine. Jordan, this is the end of my presentation. Would you like to come back? And do you have any questions?
Yeah, thank you very much, Amanda. That was incredibly fast-paced and so much really valuable information around building marketing systems. I'm sure there's going to be heaps of questions. We do have a few minutes to take those. So if you do have any questions, everybody, either the Q&A or the chat box, if you can just stick them in there for us.
And if you don't have questions, can you put no questions? I'd love to have like a big action that you're going to take from today. Some of you have said you're really busy and you don't have time to implement systems. I'm going to tell you off. And the reason I'm going to tell you off is because you've shown up today. And if you're really busy, is today the best use of your time and showing up? And yes, it is, because you've now been nagged and had an aha moment. But I just want you to think about your mindset and what it is that you're doing. You need to make a huge list of everything that you do every single day. What do you need to cut? What do you need to delegate? And what do you need to systemize? So you've got 4 hours, another 3 hours today with Pixie and some great people that are sharing with you systemizing. I want you to take these 4 hours and change your practice. Okay, you've decided that today is more important than anything else that you're doing. So use it and change your practice. Stop consuming and start taking action from what we're doing. Okay, what have we got here? I've tried to secure a copy of the book using the link. Is it an ebook or hard copy? Depends where you're located. You can have a hard copy if you, I think it's inputting your address. So if you're inputting your address, it will be a hard copy. If it's just asking for an email, by the way, great example of a system. This is all in place. I can't remember how we've put it together. I've got my integrator working on it. I've got my web guy working on it. It's all happening in the background. As I said, my job is to show up and talk and share my knowledge. All right. So all of this has been organized. So I can't 100% answer that question. If you're in Australia, Jane, we'll send you an email with a PDF version. Okay. Jane says, I've just sparked her into seriously thinking about systems. Amazing. Jane, your business, your practice will absolutely 10x. You'll really grow the practice if you systemize everything. I'll be making sure I set aside 1 hour a day to map everything out. Yeah, and great things. So an example of systemizing would be every action you take, record it on Loom, and then turn that Loom video into a step-by-step process afterwards. So it really shouldn't take you any longer than you're actually doing it. Just record it, put it in Google Docs, not Google Docs, Google Drive, and just have your standard operating processes or your standard operating procedures just stored all there. Okay. Great. So I'm starting to document systems and processes. The importance of this has been emphasized today. Biggest takeaways: in the long run, it will save you time. Yes, it will give you freedom. I promise you it will give you freedom. My head is so empty of stress because everything's systemized. Brilliant. Okay, Jordan, anything else, sweetheart?
Yeah, I was actually just thinking a tip that somebody gave me once for finding time to build systems is to think about it as like practicing a sport or something. Like, in order to get better at this sport or whatever the activity is, you have to go along and practice and carve out the time to do that, whether that's an hour a week or 2 hours a week. And I think the same applies with building systems. Just find an hour or two a week in the diary. It could be in the evenings after work when the kids have gone to bed and you're not worried about deadlines. It could be first thing in the morning. Maybe take yourself out of the normal working environment, go to a cafe or somewhere that's different, and just spend an hour or two a week. And then, once you start spending an hour or two a week and putting some basic things in place, that's going to free up a few more hours. And then you can spend 3 or 4 hours a week, and then it just snowballs from there.
Yeah. And one thing that I know is that when you take yourself away from the office, magic happens. Okay, so I was putting together the slides for today. Yesterday, I was finalizing them, and I spent a lot of time in front of my computer. So creating content, talking to clients, doing all of that. And I really wanted to create a webinar that was different from anything I'd ever done before. And I was stuck because I was going, I need a solution. And actually, Annabelle, my daughter, started college this week. And I was like, do you know what, Annabelle, I'm going to take you to college. I'm going to get in the car. We're going to walk along the seafront. We're going to go and get in the car. I'm going to take you to college. And that's where I came up with 3 of the slides, by being in the car and being out of the environment. So what I would say to all of you is, if you feel overwhelmed and you don't have time, take yourself out of your normal environment and your brain will think in a different way so that you can actually create something and act like a CEO. A CEO does not sit in front of his computer all day. Richard Branson spends more time playing tennis on his boat and running around than anything else, because it gives him thinking time. And that thinking time is the thing that transforms his practice. Okay, give yourself thinking time, create systems, and you'll get thinking time, because everything else will run smoothly.
Perfect. What a great message to finish on. Thank you very much, Amanda, for your time this morning. Thank you to everybody that's joined us for the first session of the day as well. Just to kind of reiterate, if you are looking for some pre-made processes and workflows and systems, we do have a number of them available. I've just shared them in the chat box for you there. There's also a link to get Amanda's book. I shared a link to her LinkedIn profile there as well earlier. So if people want a copy of the slides, they can message you on LinkedIn, Amanda.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Perfect. All right, great. So thank you very much, everybody. We're going to kick the 10 a.m. session off in just 7 minutes time. So feel free to go grab a coffee, grab a cup of tea, go for a quick walk if you've got time, nip to the toilet, and I'll see you in a few minutes time for the practice ignition session.
See you later, folks. Connect with me on social media. All right, see you later. Bye.